Good morning to all of you out there in Twitch and YouTube land, wherever this video is going to end up living in multiple places. Welcome back. This is a second pass-through through the Moogle's First Seed series for the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer. This series is designed as a way to bring new players into the game. You need exactly 0 experience to play this along with us. This video, I will be going through a seed. The seed will be linked below in the description for YouTube. It is also available. It will be available on the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide website, and it will also be available in the Worlds Collide Discord. The flag set will be saved on the website, so you'll be able to generate other seeds with this flag set. If you just want to try the same settings as I'm playing through, or you can play alongside me with the same seed and sort of go through with a guided experience. As much as possible, I will be trying to narrate the choices that I'm making and why I'm making them, and explain how the game works and how you are going to beat the game. This is a new run-through of the Moogle's First Seed series, because Worlds Collide just came out with its version 1.0 release, which included a lot of new things and a lot of new settings, and made the source code open source as well. So there are lots of exciting things happening, and it was time to refresh the series. So if you go to the website ff6wc.com, you will get a website that looks like this. And you will see that there is already a section for Moogle's First Seed. This download part 1 and part 2 are currently not functional because I have not made them yet for version 1.0. You can also see that there are popular seeds and that there are new seeds and random seeds that other people have made, and you can download and play those seeds as well. If you want to generate a standard race seed, that's a seed with a set of standard flags that are often used and mildly modified for things like community races, you can click on the Generate Seed button right here. Or, if you want to customize your own flags, you're going to click Customize Flags. Now, I'm going to go back to the ones that I've made here for character gating. Now, I am going to go through the options here, just so that you can see what the options are and really see that this is a very, very customizable experience, and you can make the game what you want to be. If you want to go through this game as quickly as possible and become a competitive racer, that is certainly on the table for you. However, if there are other things that you want to do, if you want to tell a story, if you want to make a more casual playthrough, that is also available to you. Just in case I lose it, I'm going to copy my flags down. So if you get a flag string, you can just copy and paste it into the flag string here, and you will generate the seed that you are looking for. In our presets, right now we only have 2. Again, a lot of things have changed with 1.0. They give you sort of a starting point. And if you register an account on the page, you can save custom flag presets. If you like to play a certain way and just want to be able to very quickly generate a seed based off of that, that is an option available to you. On this first page, the biggest #1 thing that you're going to see is the difference between character gating and open world. In an open world seed, the entire game is open to you from the very beginning. You can do any check, you can go to any dungeon, you can fight any boss in any order that you want. However, in character gating, each character that you get is going to open up a certain number of checks available to them, and it's going to give you a little bit more of a constrained experience. I personally find open world can be very, very overwhelming for me at the beginning, so that's why I'm choosing a character gated stream for this experience, because it does constrain your choices a little bit. And instead of picking from 50 things, you're picking from 5 choices. If you want to give your seed name your seed a name, you can do it right there. I am saying Moogle's First Seed because this is Moogle's First Seed. I'm very creative with names. Bear with me. And if you would like there to be a spoiler log or not, this is a text file that will tell you where every character is, what the results of each check are, what the spells of the espers are, etc., etc. I tend to play without spoiler logs, although there are some very fun races that are held occasionally called spoiler log races, where you are given the seed and the spoiler log ahead of time, and you get a chance to sort of map out what you want your route to be when you have that knowledge ahead of time. Excuse me. The biggest new thing that has come out with the advent of 1.0 is an objective system. Now, once you set an objective, here you will set the result. What do you want the result to be? For this purpose, we are going to treat this just like a previous version of Worlds Collide, where the objective was getting into Kefka's Tower. Here my objective is Kefka's Tower. It will unlock Final Kefka. My condition is I need 7 characters and 10 espers. I had moved one of my sliders around, and I have to meet both of those conditions. You can add up to 25 objectives, but for a first experience, we're going to keep it simple. We need to find 7 characters, 10 espers to enter Final Kefka's Tower and enter the final battle, and that's how we will end our seed. If you click over to the Party tab, our starting party, we're going to start with 3 characters. 2 of them will be guaranteed not to be Gogo or Umaro. They can be a very, very challenging characters to start with. One of them could be either Gogo or Umaro. It is random. For our options, we have start average level. That means, if everyone in your party is level 10 and you get a new character, they will also be level 10. If you turn that off, they will come in at level 3. The start naked flag is off. That means everyone will start with the equipment that they start with in vanilla. If you turn that flag on, they will start with nothing. And I've turned on the equipable Umaro flag, because if we're going to get the Sasquatch and we're going to use him, I want to be able to put something better than a bone club on him. On the other hand, if you get Umaro late and have equipable Umaro, well, you also just got a snow muffler. So, consolation prize there. Character stats will be randomized between 100 and 150% of their vanilla value. This is just going to make it a little bit easier for us to go through on this first time through the game for your first experience. There are a few other choices right here, this big list. You can change what the abilities that characters have are. For this purpose, we are going to have all of the vanilla abilities on everyone, except Leap is going to be random, because Leap, we don't fight very much on the Veld, and that would be not that useful. We have a few quality of life changes, including for Sword Tech. We have Fast Sword Tech on, which means it charges 4 times faster, which makes Sword Tech an actual usable ability. Bum Rush Last means that in order to learn Bum Rush, we are going to have to learn all of the other blitzes before we can go to Duncan's house with our blitz user, which in this case will be Sabin, to get our Bum Rush. We are going to start with between a random number of 0 and 24 lores. They're going to cost their original, but one of our quality of life flags here is everybody learns. So even if you find Hide On early and you get Grand Trained before you find your lore user, they will still have it if you experienced the Grand Train. And we are going to start with, let's say, 15 to 30 rages. No Leap is on. That means Leap is not available. You'll just learn a rage after every battle. And no Charm is on. That means the Nightshade rage has been disabled, because Charm from Nightshade is literally unblockable. There is nothing in the game that is immune to Charm, up to and including Final Kefka himself. And we are not going to start with any dances. We will learn them normally. Everyone will learn them. So again, if you're fighting out in the Serpent Trench, and you get that water terrain, even without your dancer, they will still have it. We've also turned on no stumble because, frankly, who wants to stumble around while you're trying to dance and do things that are fun and exciting? And in the skills menu for the dance, it will display what the abilities are just so that you can check to see what is there. Over in battle, what we are doing is for our experience points, every experience point we gain will be 3 times what it is normally in vanilla, and it will be 5 times the magic points and 5 times the gold. And our experience will not be divided among our party members. So if an enemy would give you 100 XP, it's going to give every character 100 XP instead of giving 25 XP to each of your 4 characters in your party. The boss battle will be shuffled around, and the boss experience is on, which means every boss will give us some experience points and get us levels and get us closer to being ready to fight Final Kefka. Our scaling is going to be characters plus espers gained. For every character and esper we get, the enemies will gain 2 levels. The lowest level that enemies can be in this game is level 3, at least in the randomizer. And we are starting with 3 characters, so every enemy is going to start off at level 6. Once we get another character, they will be level 8, etc., etc. There is a distortion to this of -1, 0, +1, or +2, just to make sure that we can't pull off any level 5 Doom shenanigans. The 8 dragons will be scaled, but the final battles will not, so that we know throughout this entire game we are going to be preparing for Final Kefka just like it would be in the vanilla game. Nothing about the Final Kefka battle is really going to change, so we know what we're shooting for, we know what we're aiming for. For the boss AI, we do have a couple of things that are just going to make it a little bit nicer for us. When you find Doomgaze, he will not run away from you. Rexol will not use the Zinger spell, so you don't have to kill off your party to get him to come back or hope to get lucky with X-Zone. Magimaster will not cast Ultima. I want to repeat, Magimaster, who is already an obnoxious boss, will not cast Ultima as a death counter, which just makes him more achievable in the game period. And if you fight Chartanook, he is going to be in his demon phase more often than he would in vanilla, which, again, just makes it so that we're not waiting around for the demon to do something. Our random encounters will be shuffled around, and our fixed encounters will be random, which means we could hit the same encounter in fixed encounters multiple times in multiple places, whereas shuffle just means we took all of the possible encounter formations in the game, we put them like a deck of cards, we shuffled them together and dealt them back out. So once a particular formation is in a spot, it will not be in another spot. And I'm going to say escapable to random and make that 100%. So 100% of random and fixed encounters will be escapable. If we go into the magic, our spells are going to be shuffled. So first there's espers. Let me rephrase. The spells that the espers will give you are shuffled. The bonuses they give you on level up will be shuffled. The MP cost of them will be original. They are equipable by everybody. And we have turned on multi-summon, which means you can summon the same esper more than once. Natural magic, we have randomized the levels and the spells for both Terra and Celes's natural magic, and we have put it on a random character and turned on the menu indicator, so we're going to know who has that magic. Finally, in the items for this, we're going to start off with 25,000 gold, and that's just going to allow us to buy a couple of things just to get us started at the very beginning of the game, just to help us out a little bit. We're going to start with 3 Moogle charms, and everyone can equip them. So you can, run around without fear of random battles. We're starting with a few Phoenix Downs, a few Warp Stones, and a few tools in case we start out with a tool user and they won't be completely useless. Characters can equip everything they can in the original game. They also can equip a 20% chance of every other item. They have 20% chance that they can equip it. So For example, Mog has a 20% chance of being able to equip a Ragnarok and a 20% chance of being able to equip an Illumina, as an example. Curse Shield battles, 256 to 256 is going to be a really long time, so we're going to make that down to 1 to 16. Moogle Charms are equipable by all. Sword Tech and Runic will work no matter what weapon you have equipped. And we've made the Atma weapon better. In the vanilla game, the Atma weapon is really not all that usable until level 50 or so. Here, we've changed it so it is viable at a much, much lower level. Our shops are going to be shuffle plus random, so all of the normal items will be there, and 20% of the items will be replaced with random other items. The prices will be a random percentage of 75% to 125% of their normal price. Items sell for half. Dried meat will be available in 4 shops. And we have assigned values to things that would normally sell for 1 gold. Otherwise, you would be able to buy Illuminas for 2 gold. Which is fun, but I don't want to remove all of the challenge from this. Chests are going to, again, be shuffled plus random. And I'm going to turn that random percent up just a little bit, because a lot of those chests have Phoenix Downs and tonics and potions, and I'd like a few more of them to be a little bit more useful than that. Finally, you can go through and modify the graphics of the game. You can modify the sprites, you can modify the palettes, and you can modify the portraits, but for our purposes, I'm going to leave them all as they are. Finally, in other, this is where there are just a few other things that don't neatly fit into another category. So the Colosseum, our opponents are random, the rewards are random, all of the rewards are visible. Auction House, the items are randomized. There is no chocobo or airship, so that there are no just randomly long cutscenes. And when I talk to the gentleman at the door, he will tell me if there are glowing stones still available, so I know if I need to get those espers. Auto Sprint is on. You can display the character's original name under any custom name you give them, so you know who you have. I've randomized the RNG table so that it is not predictable with things like slots. I've left the clock in Zozo alone, and I have not turned on scan timer. I am going to change the event timers to none. I don't feel event timers really add anything to the game, and it also unintentionally fixes a door timer glitch. And challenges, here in quotation marks, all I have turned on is no more Moogle Charms. They will not appear in the Colosseum, Auction House, shops, chests, or events. The 3 that we start with will be the only 3 that we have. Other than that, you can turn on some challenges to turn up the difficulty a little bit. And then there are various bug fixes, which I have turned all of them on for this case. So, because I made some changes through that, I am going to change that to Moogle's First Seed 1.01, just so that it's clear. I'm going... no, I'll just leave it 1.00. You will have to upload a clean US version Final Fantasy III ROM. I cannot help you on where to find that. Check off that you're not a robot. Click Generate. It will give you a little zip file. And then it will give you this text file. Will basically tell you what your flags are. This is what I went through on the through the website, just in a little text file for you, so that you can remind yourself if you need to. And then the other one is the ROM, which I am going to open up, and I am going to transition over to my actual setup here for the stream. And there we go. And we should be hearing the music now. And I'm going to change that. And I'm going to start up here. Now, normally I do play with a timer, but for our purposes here, I am not going to. I'm just going to go through and play at my own pace and try to explain things as I go through. On this screen, you can see a few things to begin with. First off, down here at the bottom, I have Objective A, Unlock Final Kefka. I've met 0 of 2 conditions, and those 2 conditions are recruit 7 characters and find 10 espers. I do know that I will start with 3 characters, so with my little tracker in the corner there, this is the emo tracker. That is what I use, and I use manual tracking. There are auto tracking options available. I have personally never gotten them to work, but I think that's more of a me problem than a tracking problem. So on the screen here, if we go down to config, that again pulls up your configuration screen from the beginning of the game, or from the game normally. And I need to just change one of my settings because... excuse me? Well, that was rude. Well, if you give me just a moment, I'm going to reopen that. VITC. I don't know why that was such a problem. And we're going to make sure that we have detect keyboard changes or input changes on, because I have my... Come on. Okay. So once again, this is just... it has decided to die on me. Well, isn't that so much fun? Well, hopefully this will stay with me. So things that I do at the very beginning when I am changing the configuration, I keep it at a wait battle mode. Change the battle speed all the way down to 6 because that only changes how fast your enemies move and not how fast you move. So this is actually a difficulty meter for the game that none of us knew existed. At least I didn't as a kid. And message speed fast. And I set my cursor to memory because that's just easier for me. But you can set up all of these configurations at the beginning of the game before you head out. In flags, you can go through and again look through the flags that you set on the website. You can check your objectives, and if there's more, you can scroll further down, and you can start a new game, which is what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what characters I have and mark them off on my tracker. I have a Strago, an Edgar, and a Cyan. This is actually a really interesting group to start with for a couple of reasons. Now, normally I would go through and check to see what abilities they have, but I already know because they're the standard abilities. These guys open up quite an array of checks. And I'm going to check. Okay, so Strago already has Grand Train. Strago here is going to be quite a powerful hero, especially beginning of the game, if I can find something like a gold hairpin or an economizer, because right now he doesn't have the MP to cast basically any of this. I'm going to check my items. I start off with a Bioblaster and a Chainsaw. Edgar has tools. That's going to be pretty useful. Phoenix Downs, Warp Stones, and I'm going to equip a Moogle Charm on one of my characters so that I can move around. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Edgar at the front because there are several shops, particularly in Figaro Castle and in South Figaro in the World of Ruin, where he gets half price on shops. So I want to just make sure that I am taking advantage of that fact. Now, at the beginning of the game here, we are all level 3. We have like 60 to 90 HP. We do not have much going on. We need to get stuff. And that's going to be the first thing I do anytime I play a Worlds Collide seed is I'm going to start looting. And typically I start off with Narsh because there is a decent number of chests here in Narsh and some shops that I can look at as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look at the Lone Wolf spot. This is where you would normally recruit Mog in the vanilla game. And if you get Mog and come here, you can trigger that Lone Wolf scene and get a character Esper or item check as well. So I'm going to open those up. Those chests were not particularly exciting, but it is some stuff to get me going. Now, while I'm here, I usually go in through this door and check the clock in the house. A Hawkeye, once again, not that exciting, but it is a weapon that is better than a Mithril Dagger. And then I'm going to check the shop. None of these things are bad. They're all decent items. They're better than what I have, but they're not worth, in my opinion, they're not worth me spending money on right now. So I'm going to leave them. I'm going to come into the item shop. I've already got some Phoenix Downs. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to buy maybe 10 sleeping bags. Those are good, quick healing items. They're useful. And for the beginning of the game here, I'm going to grab about 5 potions or so. 250 healing when you only have 90 HP. Not too shabby. I'll check my relics. Let's see. So an offering can be a very, very powerful relic. It can be completely game-breaking with the right things. But right now, it's way more money than I have, and I don't have anything that would really take advantage of it. Czarina ring really isn't worth it. I am going to pick up a wall ring because there is a chance that that could be useful to deal with something like a Magi Master. Although the scaling is a scale element, so he might be casting some things that aren't reflectable. Water edges and bolt edges, if I had someone with throw, this would be really, really useful. They are almost as they're about half as powerful as rods, and rods are very, very powerful. So, you know, half power rods for a third of the price, very, very strong. But don't have anyone with throw. I don't think it's really worth picking it up right now, so I'm going to leave it. There is also a couple of chests here in the beginner's house that I am going to check. I am going to go all the way down and then get them on the way out. Pearl Rod. That is a breakable rod. Generally, you can't buy them, but if you can buy them, they tend to be more expensive than the regular elemental rods. That Pearl Rod can be very, very useful for getting through a sticky situation. Right here, if you're not unaware, that's a little healing spring. So you get a free heal here in Narsh anytime you want. I am going to save. Put my folks in the back row to half the damage. And I'm going to check this chest. This chest is a monster in a box. It's a Spectre. That is not that exciting. But we were able to get through it pretty quickly. The Hyper Wrist is useful, but it's not as impactful as other relics. It's not bad. It's a thing to have. All right. The next place I'm going to go is the Returner's Hideout. This is another very treasure-dense, fairly compact spot. So that makes it a pretty worthwhile check. There's not much to it, but there are chests here that could give me more tools that I need. A potion, Magicite. I have tried using Magicite in battles. It has literally never once worked out for me. It seems like 9 times out of 10 you end up casting Crusader, which ends up being just an instant wipe on your own party, which is, you know, less than fun. Out of my way, please. Thank you. So I'll go through and I'll check these chests. True Knight. Again, a lot of this stuff is going to end up being just fodder to get sold later. So here we go. I'll buy a couple of antidotes just in case I get poisoned. Again, a couple of green cherries. I'm going to buy a few more Revivifies, because if I find undead enemies, those are going to be useful. And a couple of tents. And you can see that that initial 25,000 gold is going away pretty quickly, and that's why I have it in this preset. I want people to be able to buy, you know, a few things to get them going early on. And a Green Beret. Green Beret is actually one of the better helmets in the game, but that's more of an indictment against the rest of the helmets in the game and less of a comment about how good Green Beret is. And I'm going to go from here to South Figaro. South Figaro is, again, one of the most treasure-dense spots in the game. One of the things that I ended up learning for this randomizer was where all of these special, extra, hidden treasures were that I did not know. And these are treated as separate loot pools between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. So I can loot them once here, go to the World of Ruin, and loot them once there. So none of these are particularly interesting or exciting. So I'm going to leave them. There can be arguments to be made that running shoes can be good in certain situations. Hopefully we can remember that they're here in case we find the tentacles fight. That would be a very, very useful item to have for that fight. It might even just make it possible where it wouldn't be otherwise. But other than that, none of those were particularly like high on my list of things that I'm looking for. What do we have here? Once again, none of this is particular, like, it's good, but it's not show-stopping good. Okay, here's where I am proven wrong. So, what we have here is Thunder Rods and Ice Rods. We're going to buy some of these because they are very, very powerful. And I'm going to do my best to sell some other things that I'm not particularly, you know, attached to buy more. This is going to be sort of our main source of offense for the beginning of the run until our characters get a little bit more powerful. They are that good. And I'm going to check our character's magic power. So we're really going to want to be mostly using them with Strago. He has the highest magic power. Edgar is not that far behind. So I'm going to finish looting South Figaro here. Keep in mind, I am probably not showing you every single chest that is available. I do come from the racing community of Worlds Collide, although I am one of 2 executive Moogles in charge. So if you jump into the Discord and you have questions or you have concerns or issues, please feel free to send me a message in Discord and I will help you out with that. And I'm sort of in charge of, you know, making sure that the community is continuing to move forward and, you know, run in a fair and equitable place that is good for everyone. But my main role within the community, other than, I guess, being in charge of it, which is a little odd to me to this day, is I did a lot of racing. So a lot of times I come at this with the perspective of a racer, and if there is a chest that is just too far out of the way, I'll just ignore it. However, one of those chests had an air anchor in it, and an air anchor is a very, very useful tool, very underrated in the base game. It will hit an enemy, do a very small amount of damage that is completely negligible, but it will insta-kill them after their next move. Oh, bother. It has been a day or two. Where are you? I'm not crazy. There it is. As you can see, it has been a couple of days since I have been playing extensively. I've been spending more of my time on the community management aspect. But, you know, Moogle's First Seed is kind of my baby, so I wanted to make sure that I kicked it off again. So we're going to finish checking these chests, and now at this point, we have offense. We have, you know, a few rods. We can definitely take some enemies on. So the choice here, the real question here is, where do we go and what do we do? We have some options. We can do a couple of free checks. We can check Mount Zozo in the World of Ruin because of Cyan. We can also do Cyan's Dream at World of Ruin Doma Castle. And we can do World of Balance Doma Castle, which is just the leader fight. Because we have Edgar, we can do the Figaro Castle. We can do the Tentacles fight in World of Ruin. And we can do the Ancient Castle check in the World of Ruin. Strago has, frankly, the worst checks in the game. We can do Burning House, also known as Casa del Fuego. We can do Ebot's Rock. And we can fight the Magi Master boss. What I'm going to try first here, out of those, is the World of Balance Doma fight. For a couple of reasons. One, it's fairly quick. You know, we can just find ourselves in the battle and try to beat it immediately. We don't have to go through a dungeon. We don't have to, you know, fight a whole bunch of battles. We can just try it. And also, if it's a battle we aren't going to be able to take, we'll know very quickly. So because the character who came out was one of my characters, I know that the reward here will not be a character, but it could be a character or an Esper. What I can tell you from this battle, this is the Ultros from the Opera House. He has a fairly low HP pool, and I was really, really hoping that that would have finished him off. I am going to wait for Edgar to go first. I'm going to switch over to him. I am going to get a Phoenix down up on Cyan, because I want to make sure that Cyan is up and gets experience for this fight. That 2,000 XP is going to be shared among everyone. And now the battle is over, and we are going to get our reward. And we have gotten our first Esper, so I'm going to tick off my tracker for that Esper, and that we've done that battle. Let's see what the Esper gives us. Remedy, Slow, Haste, and Strength +2. So the spells aren't particularly interesting, although Remedy definitely has its uses. Strength +2 is quite good. I'm actually going to put that on our Edgar here to help with things like Drill and Chainsaw. And Edgar makes for a good Dragoon, and the extra Vigor will help him. He also has a higher natural Vigor than Cyan does, so, you know, let's just amplify his good traits there. Now, we have 3 characters and 1 Esper. So our enemies are around level 8. We are level 9, so we're a little bit ahead. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the... We're going to go into the World of Ruin. And we're going to go over to Doma Castle here, and we're going to do Cyan's Dream. Now, if you had played Original Worlds Collide, you might be thinking, oh, he wants to go get all of the sword techs from Cyan. That is not automatic in this version anymore. You have to set it up as an objective, which I did not. I am doing it because it is 3 fights and 3 checks relatively quickly, one after another. And there's a couple of treasure chests that I'm going to get along the way here, including that Atma weapon. That Atma weapon will be useful to us later. Our characters need to be in the 30s or so before it's going to be worthwhile. All right. Now here we need to find 2 of the 3 stooges. Oh, bother. In order to move on. Although we do have all of our characters, so we don't have to worry about that at least. Is it this one? Haha, it is. Again, not a particularly challenging area when you have a Moogle charm and can just sort of run your way through it. And now we're going to face our boss here, and hopefully it's not going to be something too ridiculously awful. So we have the Ghost Train. Starts off with the Evil Toot. If you remember in Vanilla, the Ghost Train is a undead enemy, which means that it can be killed with a Revivify or a Phoenix Down. And for this seed, I left that ability on, but normally most of our seeds have what's called a no undead flag, so that that is not as exploitable. And we have another Esper, and we did the first one of those. So let's see what our Alexander does. Meteor, Ice 2, and Ice. You know, not terrible. Ice 2 is pretty good. The Stamina plus 2 is almost entirely useless. And I'm going to clear the poison. And we're going to go through Cyan's Dream. You can, so because that is not a character, I know that this is going to either be a high tier item or an Esper reward. I'm not going to get a character here. I'm going to come, oh, that was, I got confused as to which chest I was going for. And we go through this quote unquote puzzle here. That red jacket's actually quite useful. I'm very pleased with that. And an experience egg is arguably one of the most overpowered relics in the entire game. And that's because levels do a whole lot for you as a character in terms of damage. Far more impact than most stats even. So before the next boss battle, I will set up the experience egg on one of my characters. I think I'm going to put it on Edgar because he has a Esper, which is going to help boost his stats. So I want to, you know, start cranking up his damage in particular. And we have our little cutscene here. Cutscene, cutscene, cutscene. Now, just like in Vanilla, you have to go around backwards to continue. One of those things that just drove me nuts as a kid. I had no idea what was going on or why it wasn't working. I was just going around in circles and circles and circles. Now we're here. You can take off your Moogle charm here, and you can grind if you need levels. But I always recommend save in separate save slots. That way you will not get stuck at the end in a situation that you cannot deal with. And again, I'm just going to equip a few things. none of these are really all that useful for Strago, so I'm just going to leave him without. But you want to save in different save slots to ensure that you do not get yourself stuck somewhere. Great. Doom. Wonderful. And of course, my controller has decided to pause on me. Okay, now that we're back here, that was a really rough start for that battle. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way forward here. I'm going to heal up our Strago, and I'm going to start breaking rods over his head. Rods are the most powerful tool that we have right now. Doom is definitely a boss that it is worth spending your powerful tools on. Another fun thing about rods is that they ignore reflect, so I would not need to worry about his auto reflect here. And, you know, my pearl rods are now going to be ineffective, but I only had one. Oh well. But you can see these are doing quite a bit of damage here. Far more than, you know, Cyan's dispatch will, and that ignores defense. Like, dispatch is not a bad skill. Just rods do so much more. And again, for a boss like this is an endgame boss, so that even though he is scaled down to our level, or to roughly level 12, he is still a very powerful enemy. So don't sleep on, you know, oh, my enemies are going to be, you know, roughly around my level. It's not going to be that bad. There are still enemies that can take you to town. And that's another Esper in Palador. Lots of Espers here in Cyan's checks, not lots of characters. And we got an Aegis Shield. An Aegis Shield is just a generic good item. It is not particularly exciting, but it is fine. So I just went through and optimized everyone. I'm going to put the Mithril Rod back on Strago because I want him to have better magic. That's the long and the short of it. We can also see that Edgar's Vigor is now up to 75. He has really gotten some advantage of that Esper boosting. And my plan for him is to be using that Atma weapon that we found and really go into town with that later on in this game. So next I'm going to go to World of Ruin South Figaro, and then I'm going to go do the Tentacles check. As I said before, all of these outdoor chests are considered separate between the two worlds, so you can loot them twice, which is just delightful. And all of these shops in World of Ruin will give you half price. Again, beads is there. It increases your evasion quite effectively. It's just not quite what I'm looking for right now. So Red Cap is arguably one of the 2 best hats in the game. Once again, more of an indictment of others. So an enhancer, we did just find one. Enhancers are very good. They help improve your magic power. These other items are, again, not that exciting. But knowing that, I'm going to go to Strago and put on that enhancer and increase his magic power even a little bit more. So I do know there's at least 2 other chests here that I haven't checked, but again, I'm coming from a racing perspective and not a 100%ing perspective. So I often will end up skipping chests. I'm going to come here. We are going to save. Once again, save in different save slots. I'm going to drive this home as much as I can, save in different save slots. I have lost runs. I have lost races because I got myself stuck. I am feeling fairly powerful right now, so I'm just going to keep going. And once again, because that is a ghost, I know it's not a character. So it's an Esper or a good item. So what I'm working on right now is attempting to get 7 characters, 10 Espers. Remember, that's what we're looking for, and go into Kefka's Tower. Oh, excuse me. I apologize for that. And I'm making the choices I'm making because they are the choices that are available to me. I cannot go do Leet River right now because I don't have Terra. I went to Cyan's Dream because it was 3 checks right in a row. Here I know it's going to be a few treasures, as well as I'll be able to loop in all of Edgar's checks right in a row. That Genji glove is going to be good, and we know there are offerings in World of Balance Narsh. And that hero ring. That hero ring is one of the best relics in the game. I said hero ring, not relic ring. The hero ring is an Atlas armlet and an earring stapled together. It's just really, really good. Hero ring is absolutely an endgame relic. Let's find out who this boss is. Tunnel armor. Tunnel armor, just like in vanilla, not very scary at all. So I'm now at the point where I really don't feel the need to break any more of my rods. I'm powerful enough without them, but I'm still going to be using very powerful things such as Grand Train and Quadra Slice to defeat these enemies. Strago is right now a powerhouse. Just very, very strong. And as we gain these levels, Edgar is getting more and more powerful with more and more vigor. There we go. That is the Esper Odin. I will check in a moment. There is a treasure here. Running shoes. Again, running shoes are not a bad item. They're just not something I'm looking for right now. They are very useful. If I find the tentacles fight and struggle with it, I can, reset to a previous save, put on the running shoes, and then go to town. So I'm going to continue to do checks here. One of them is the Figaro Castle Throne. Just like you would in the very beginning of the game in vanilla, you go up to the throne room and you will talk to whoever's on the throne to recruit them. And that's going to be another Magicite for us. That is what is called a free check. You do want to be somewhat careful with free checks because they can make your enemies more powerful without you gaining any experience. It's not a big deal, but it is something to be aware of. And our merchants are once again, don't want to take money from the king, but we will gladly buy from them. I'm going to buy a drill. The drill is going to be, on average, more damage than the chainsaw. The chainsaw has a higher base power, but it has a 1 in 4 chance of doing the Freddy Krueger thing and or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and putting on the mask and doing an insta-kill effect, whereas the drill will always just do damage. And since these are half price, I'm going to buy some more Phoenix Downs. I always like to have way more than I think I'll need. And the same thing for sleeping bags. I like them as my main source of healing outside of battle. There is a chest right next to that dude, and I'm going to go get it. I forgot it just a second ago. So I'm going to buy a Noise Blaster. A Noise Blaster, as the tools command, can be very useful for dealing with, in particular, Katana Soul. I am literally buying it on the off chance that I find the single monster in a box that is weak to confusion, and it will kill itself. It's worth the 200 gold. So now we're going to go to Klingon. And we are going to stop and explore when we hit something odd here. And this is going to be the last of our 3 Edgar checks. And I personally like wrapping them all up in one little neat package here and doing all of them together. Remember, I'm coming from a racing perspective. You do not have to play it this way. You can go slower. You can make different choices. That is all fine. I'm going to be grabbing some chests here along the way. In particular, I want to check these monster in a boxes. I am looking for not that. Just not that. Not that at all. I am hoping for Katana Soul. I would like the I would like the Offering. I would also like the Gigantos because it is lots and lots of XP. But they are generally worth checking. If you know you have the tools to deal with them. I just went backwards. I tend to go through my checks in very, very specific orders, and if I vary from that at all, I will forget where I'm going. Bear with me. So we're going to grab these 2 chests here, an eye drop and a stout spear. Not exciting, but they're fine. Going to save here. For 2 reasons. One, I am hoping to hit the... I will be getting the dragon and the monster in a box. And just in case something weird happens, I want to make sure that I will be able to, come back if I need to. And we're going to grab our treasures. There's that door there. There's this door here. This is a monster in a box. I can tell it's not Katana Soul because it did not start playing boss music. I believe the Telstar gives a green beret, if I remember correctly. Now, this check, in order to find the stairs down, you want to talk to those stairs there. That will ensure you can go down, but also check your chests right here. The Stunner is an interesting knife. It can randomly proc Stop, which can be useful on a couple of bosses, notably Poltergeist, or as we call him in the community, the Spicy Chicken. and then talk to that statue to get your reward for this area. That is another Magicite. I realize I haven't checked my Magicite in a minute, so I'm going to see what other spells we can learn. Ooh, Fire 2, Ice 3, Berserk, and Quick. I like that. Life, Haste 2, Quarter, Cure. Okay, so I'm going to put Palador here on Edgar. It will continue buffing his strength. I also want him to learn Quick. We have learned Ice 2 and Ice. I need Curing, and Flare is going to just be better than Meteor, so I'm going to switch him over. Remedy, Slow, Haste. And Strength for Cyan will never really go amiss. Now, there's a couple of spells that have a lot of magic points that are needed. We're going to go deal with the dragon and hope that it goes okay. And again, a dragon is a time where I know things can get a little hairy, so I'm going to break some rods. That drain's going to hurt less badly than I thought it would. There we go, and we have defeated this dragon. Killing dragons are often part of requirements to entry into Kefka's Tower. In this case, it's not. I'm going to click off the blue dragon on my tracker because this is the blue dragon's spot. And we get a Force Armor. So not only do you get what the dragons normally drop, you get a good amount of XP, really good magic points, and you get an extra reward. That extra Force Armor is actually probably going to come in very handy here. Again, remember, this is a set of intro settings, so they are designed to be relatively easy. These are not designed to be challenge flags. So if it does seem like I am blazing through things very quickly, remember that is a combination of me being a racer and having turned the settings to have an easier, more casual experience. So at this point, I am starting to think, oh no, where am I going to get another character? I have very limited choices of what I can do and where I can go at this point. So, one thing to note here is the first time you go to Kalingen in Worlds Collide, when it comes back, it will bring you back to where you were so you can go back and get your airship. So, I have 4 possible places a character could be right now. Mount Zozo, the Burning House, Ebot's Rock, and Fanatic's Tower, and the Kefka at Narsh battle. In one of those 5 locations, there will be at least one character that will open up more of the game for me. I am trying to avoid Strago checks. Fanatic's Tower is one that I can peek at and see who it is, see what the reward is. The reward is not a character, so I know that I do not need to complete Fanatic's Tower to get a character. That makes me feel better. I'm going to go to Mount Zozo. So we'll land here at Zozo. Again, save early, save often. Practice safe gaming, please. You will need to go up here and talk to this gentleman for the Rust Rid. And then head up these stairs. Now, I will note that the clock here in Zozo, you can randomize the time. Otherwise, it is 6:10:50, I believe. And that is one of the things that can be a possible objective. Again, not necessarily. Wow, I haven't gone up those stairs in a long time. Ooh, that Thunder Shield is really good. I'm going to immediately stick that on Strago here. because it will start teaching him a spell and give him some much needed elemental immunities and resistances. The other reason I wanted to do Mount Zozo as opposed to the other ones is because, frankly, it's a less obnoxious check, and it's got a good amount of treasure in it. And I'm still at the point in the game where, like, I have not really determined my endgame strategies here, so I'm still on the lookout for powerful weapons. Things like elixirs will never go amiss. So, you know, I am still on the lookout here. I am going to sleeping bag my party up real quick, and I'm going to fight this dragon. Again, it will give me a powerful item. It will give me a bunch of XP without increasing the enemy's levels. So right now, you know, between Quadrislam, Drill, and Grand Train, I'm feeling very comfortable about my offenses in this seed right now. Oh, please excuse me. But fighting this will level up my characters, and because new characters will join us at our average party level, gaining levels here are going to gain levels on every other character we recruit for the rest of the game. So it is definitely worth the investment now. The downside is that they won't be able to gain Esper bonuses, but those Esper bonuses are not nearly as important as just pure levels. So I'm going to take Palador off of him because he now has the quick spell, which is what I was looking for. You can start learning that. That sounds good. You are done with that, but I'm going to put Quick on you. Quick is a spell that allows you to take 2 turns immediately after casting Quick on yourself. This can be very, very powerful. In particular, I am planning on putting it together with the Atma weapon on Edgar. All right, so now we are recruiting another new character. We are getting Terra. Terra is the best girl. She has 5 checks open to her: the Leet River, the Sealed Cave, Welk, World of Balance Zozo, and World of Ruin Mobley's the Funbaba check. She brings a lot of checks with her. She is very powerful in terms of stats and her equipment. Morph is one of the best abilities in the game. She is absolutely a powerhouse. So we are always happy to see Terra. Terra will love to grab some cures and some flares. Put some good equipment on her. And then we are going to Warpstone out. Now, traditionally, when you get Terra, one of the first things you do is you go to the Imperial Camp and the Cave to the Sealed Gate. There is just a huge amount of treasure here. It is technically a free check. It is going to go, I'm not going to have to fight any battles here unless I want to. And it's just going to give me a lot of stuff. And I'm a bit of a pack rat, a bit of a magpie. Give me stuff. I like stuff. Stuff is good. Don't forget to check the oven there. In vanilla, that is a flame saber, which I just find quite amusing. Ooh, that Magus hat is pretty good. Game, I didn't really want a second Magus hat. I mean, I appreciate that you heard what I said. But it is truly not necessary. So we are going to go through this space. If you talk to any of the soldiers there, it will trigger a fight, and they will kick you out afterwards. If you are in need of some grinding fights, that can be a good place if the fight is good to come back. Oh, that's an offering. Okay. So we're going to put on the Genji glove and the offering here. And we're going to start wrecking some house. You can have the XP egg, and someone needs to have a Moogle charm on. Whoo. Hoo 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 hoo. Okay. The power level is high this seed. This is a puzzle where if you just keep pressing forward, if there is going to be a piece of ground there for you next time, you will just step through it as you go. You don't need to solve the puzzle normally. Again, skipping a few of those chests, I just don't need to. There are items here under the ground. Note that they are not, because they are considered event tiles, they are not in the randomized pool of treasures. So those will be what they are in vanilla. You know, getting a few more treasures here. Ether, cherub down. I do like ribbons. I probably overvalue ribbons personally, but I think they are a very decent, defensive option for a relic. If you see an empty chest, that is one of the chests that was in Phoenix Cave that has been shuffled around. Congratulations, you lost the lottery. And we have another Esper. Not particularly exciting. The HP plus 50% is totally reasonable. But none of my characters in particular need it. And now that we're done there, we're going to Warpstone out. So I've got Terra checks available to me, and I've got Stragos checks. I am going to avoid Stragos checks because they are long and obnoxious. So from here, I'm going to head back to Narsh and see about what is in the Welk spot. I am looking for checks that are relatively short, that can get me to my next bit of progression faster. That is the long and the short of why I'm picking the checks in the order that I do. You know, I do not want to go do Fanatic's Tower. I know it's not a character. It's not what I need. And it won't. Now, up in the corner, just where normally you would see Umaro in Vanilla, we are not seeing a character. So, if we ever get Umaro, we know that behind his check is not a character. We were not greeted by a character there, so we know... Oh, good Lord. Lord Almighty. So for this, you want to use any sorts of non-elemental and defense-ignoring attacks. So things like drill, Oh my goodness, Cyan, you are so slow. Things like Grand Train. Oh my lord, you are just chewing through me. Super fast. Oh my god. So right now, Strago's doing the most damage because of Grand Train, so we need to get him back up and going. Come on, old man, stand up. Stand up and fight. Really? This is just rude. But again, goes to show that no matter how powerful you feel, there's probably still a boss who can wreck you. And keep in mind, this Magimaster is around level 22. That means he has the HP and the MP as if he were level 22. Lordy. And like, again, this is why I have 20-something Phoenix Downs, because if you hit a battle like this and you're trying to keep people up, it's annoying. So at this point, I'm going to give up on trying to keep anyone else up. I'm just going to use Terra and Strago. And Terra is there to make sure that Strago stays alive. That is her only reason for existence. Up and casting Grand Trains. That's all we want from Strago. If you open... There we go. We're going to get quite a few XP, but it's only for Strago and Terra. But they learn so much. That is another Magicite down. So while I was in Narsh, I could go check the Kefket Narsh spot, but that is a very long check, and I prefer not to do it. So I'm going to hope that there's not what I need there, and that I can go to a different check. Hey, I'm in Narsh. I get a free heal. Nice. So my choices are Zozo in the World of Balance, which is just the Dataluma fight and a lot of, movement. Leet River, which is a lot of fixed encounters. Funbaba, which is a couple of obnoxious fights, because the first one is Funbaba 3, and he will blow your party away. or Burning House, Ebot's Rock, or Fanatic's Tower. I have a very, very consistent ability with generating Moogle's first seeds and having them be unintentionally obnoxious. Just enjoying the music for a moment. All right, Dataluma, who you got? Ifrit and Shiva. Conveniently, a lot of our people have ice magic or the ice rod. And there we go. Ifrit and Shiva, very easy fight. You only have to defeat one of them. Another Esper. Fenrir. Fenrir is arguably one of the most important Espers in the game. Not because of its magic power +2, which is good, don't get me wrong, but because of Fenrir itself. It is really powerful, waiting for Tier 3 of Final Kefka. So we are happy to see it. It is Calmness Protection. It is one of those things in this game that throughout the entire game, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about, what am I going to do about Calmness Protection? What am I going to do? How am I going to deal with that tier of Kefka? All right, I guess I'm going to go do Leet River, partially because it's here, partially because I find it a less obnoxious check than Burning House. It has lots of fixed encounters, but it is quite manageable. It also has multiple save points in it, whereas the Burning House doesn't, and I really dislike that about the Burning House. Oh, that's not bad. Let's just fire this up. Once again, feeling quite powerful. Lots of gold, lots of XP. This is an enemy that I do not have good memories of. I believe this is a Kefka's Tower enemy here. I could run from the enemy, but I don't really feel the need to right now, so we're just going to kill it. Another 6,000 XP. Chef's kiss. level magics, I will always run away from. They don't give you XP. They are super obnoxious. These are Fanatic's tower enemies. Nope, not interested. We are running to the other side of the raft, and for whatever reason, that works. No, what did I say, game? I said no. I said no, I do not want to fight these. I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like level 60 magics, I am. As you can see, these enemies are quite powerful. Ooh. And to fight them and then get 0 XP for it, I'm just not interested. I'm going to save. I'm going to tent up. That will revive Cyan. And then we're going to head back out again and hopefully not hit another set of level something magics. Please. Making these sword tech bar charge faster is just an enormous quality of life update. This is another Kefka's Tower enemy. I don't particularly want to deal with fighting it right now. So we're gonna run away. And we're just gonna say no. No thank you, game. Once again, going to save in a different slot. The game really, really wants you to save here. You know, just make sure you don't get yourself caught in a situation where you have saved over your only save slot. Jeez, these ones are just lots of unfortunate enemies here. So if I had come here earlier without having leveled up, this would be a very, very challenging river. By the time I got here, we were able to handle it. And who's going to be playing the squid today? Leader, one of the least threatening bosses in the entire game. So we can see the Atma weapon is doing quite a bit of damage there compared to the other weapon. We've completed Leet River, and we have gotten all 10 espers that we need. We now no longer need any espers to enter Kefka's Tower. And we can double check this on our tracking page. Objectives 1 out of 2. We have found 10 espers. We still need 3 characters. We're almost certainly going to have to do Strago checks. So we're going to go to the World of Ruin first. And we're going to head into Moogle's because there is a NPC you can talk to that will tell you what is there. So we can decide if we want to do the check or not. And this is called peeking the check. I did this with Fanatic's Tower. And I saw that it wasn't a character, so I knew I didn't need to do that check right now. Lots of running shoes around this seed. So we're going to head down here. And if you talk to this girl, you're not going to take Sabin away, are you? Oh, sweetheart, we're going to take Sabin away. We're taking him. We're gonna we're going to remove him from your presence. So that little girl will tell you what the reward is so you can decide if it's a necessary check for you to do. This is always going to be the Funbaba that has Baba Breath. If there are particular characters that you want to ensure get blown away, make sure that they are dead by the time he uses Baba Breath, because it will target dead characters first. Other than that, as far as I can tell, it is utterly random. Sabin's going to come out and help. You'll notice the Sabin is level 3. I don't think he even has a pummel yet. After the fight, his level will be updated to reflect the fact that he will join at our average party level. There you go, Sabin. You participated and landed the killing blow. Congratulations. So you can see Sabin is now level 32. He has Blitz. Very high vigor. His magic power isn't that high. I think I want to keep Cyan instead of Sabin at this point. So we now have 5 characters. We need 2 more to enter Kefka's Tower. One advantage to getting our characters later is that our characters are all going to be a higher level now because of it, which is nice. It means they won't be stone cold useless in Kefka's Tower. I'm saving outside here because this will trigger the collapsing house no matter what. And frankly, if it's not a character, I will likely reset out and not... I would normally reset out, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to just demonstrate this house. Now, I've turned off the timers, so we do not care about how long we spend in the house. Apparently, that soldier is really good at his job at being a support beam. The reason I loot the chests in this order is because I want to get the monster in a boxes on the way out, not on the way in, so to speak. And this all over. Even if you have the boss flag, which turns off the undead flag for bosses, engaged, regular undead enemies like the all over will still be susceptible. That is a fixed dice. I'm going to have to see who can equip the fixed dice, and if we're going to want to... if we're going to want to use the fixed dice and the offering over our other options. So fixed dice offering is very, very powerful. It's a classic endgame strategy. The one challenge from the perspective of someone who likes to race the game is that it is slow. It is a slow strategy, but again, right now, I'm not super interested in speed. I am interested in power. Now, one thing to note, there are likely in this seed very, very powerful items and things that I have not found. They might be in shops that I haven't checked. My strategy going through this game is to get just what you need to, like, go, and don't worry about it. Like, if I have enough, you know, to get through the next boss, to get through the next check, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time, you know, searching for what is best in the seed. So if you play this for yourself and find out, oh, hey, Illuminas were for sale in Miranda, I was never going to find them. But that's because that's how I play. That doesn't mean going out and finding the most powerful things for cheap isn't worthwhile. I just come from a racing perspective, and that's how I think about the game. Speaking of power, let's check the Colosseum. Just because I want to show off how that works right now. And because, you know, we've got some very powerful things going on. So we can see what the reward is for what we bid. Excalibur, not as good as you would think it would be based on the fact that it's named Excalibur. A second Atma weapon. Ooh, I like that. Another ice shield. Well, we're getting a Minerva. I am hoping that we get a Minerva. Minerva, best armor in the game. Oh, please cast it on yourself. Well, that was a choice, Edgar. Not sure it's a choice I approve of. But at least I know for the rest of the fight, you'll only be attacking and be doing, what, 6 times 8? Enough damage. The answer is enough. That Minerva is going immediately on. Again, one of the best items in the game. Very, very powerful. Nullifies a whole bunch of elements, gives you a whole bunch of stats. Absolutely worth it. I could get another Minerva. Well, here, the other thing I want is another Atma weapon, so that I can have dual Atma weapon Edgar. And hey, if you're going to cast Berserk on yourself again... Ow. That's unfortunately going to remove quite a bit of power from... So this is the challenge of the Colosseum. You don't know what they're going to do. They're going to behave randomly. But Edgar is very strong. So I'm going to change his other equipment to another Atma weapon. We might as well cure him up. And I think there was an ice shield that I wanted as well. So the reason I don't want to bid the air anchor to get a Magus Rod, even though that would be very, very powerful for Strago, is that the air anchor is going to be more useful in the final Kefka fight. Alright, give me essentially a free ice shield, please. And then I will grab one more thing. I could grab a second Minerva, and frankly, I would like it. is, I believe, the Green Beret. Yep. Edgar, you're doing well, so keep doing well for me. You're doing the exact same thing. What are the chances? Oh, that pearl is gonna hurt, which is gonna make our damage lower. That is unfortunate. This is the downside of the Atma weapon. So, I'm gonna lose this fight. I'm not too fussed about it. It happens. I believe I've lost the, I've lost the hat, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not fussed about it. It'll be fine. And now we've got to figure out where to go. Again, I don't really want to go do Ebot's Rock, and I don't want to do Burning House, so I'm going to go look at Sabin's checks. So we've done the Collapsing House. The other checks for him are Barren Falls, Phantom Forest, the Imperial Camp, and Mount Colts. So I'm going to do Barren Falls first. The reason for that is that Barren Falls gives you a free full heal before this boss fight. And I've got a dead Edgar. So I'm going to put, and I'm also going to move him to the front row to do more damage with that Atma weapon. And we're going to jump. We gonna jump. Is this even randomized? So this is one of those, in vanilla you would just wait for a minute. In Worlds Collide it's a random amount of time, I believe between 10 and 30 seconds. It's changed a couple of times, so I don't necessarily have it perfectly memorized off the top of my head. But here we are seeing some of the power of the lightsabers. Those Atma weapons are doing real good damage. I could continue to wait. I'm just a little impatient, to be 100% honest. And here comes Rizzopass, who is probably going to get one shot by Edgar with 12,000 damage. As you probably noticed, most of the cutscenes here are removed, but there is a little mini cutscene here. The Valiant Knife is arguably better than the Atma weapon for pure damage. Now I'm going to go check the Imperial Camp here. That is quicker than the Phantom Forest. And both of those are quicker than Mount Colts. Again, I could be checking the chests here. There's a monster in a box. There is the chest that you can either hit or kick. But frankly, I am basically at the point where I've got endgame worthy offenses and defenses. I just want to find 2 more characters and go into Kefka's Tower. One thing to note here, the Vomammoths Those are technically level 1 enemies in the base game. They are heavily impacted by scaling, as evidenced by them casting Ice 3 and Absolute 0 at us. They are and can be way more powerful than you are expecting. Alright, this is another not a character. Whew. This seed is being very stingy with characters for us. Anyone remember from their vanilla days of a single slam dancer being very, very dangerous in Zozo? Ooh, she was the cause of more than one wipe in my day. Just multi-target Ice 2 and take out my whole party. I forget what 5 does. It doesn't matter. That was a Genji shield. That is what we call a dead check. It did not give us any progression, and frankly, a Genji shield is just depressing. It's not what you want. It's not very good. Let's go check the Phantom Train. I'm going to save outside. The Phantom Train objective is something that you can see before you commit to doing the whole check. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to peek it, and if it's not something that I need, I'm going to reset out, because we're at that point in the seed from a racing perspective. It's Realm. It is everyone's favorite murder child, whose magic power is absurdly off the chain. Whew. Although Terra's is higher. Wow. So I'm going to put Realm in the back. I'm going to equip her with something that increases her magic power. You definitely want an Ice Shield. And Realm is going to get one of the Espers that has Fire 3's good. I'm just checking the other ones to make sure. I thought there was another. Oh, it's Fire 2 with magic power +2. Well, Fire 3 on the Shiva, actually. You can learn something else. And you can learn Fire 2 and get more magic power. No reason not to. Now we've got to go to the end of the train and make sure we equip a Moogle charm again. It's a mistake I make regularly. Oh, I'll get rid of so-and-so from my party. I don't need them. They were carrying my Moogle charm. Interesting thing to note, if you ever need it, it's the second ghost here on each one of these that is the shop. No escape. Oh, Rog. Let's cure everyone up. Let's revivify Strago. And then Edgar can just lightsaber these guys away, because they are particularly obnoxious. Edgar is now doing 16,000 damage around. The Atma weapons are good. They're very powerful. Again, we skip most of the cutscene here. Quality of life changes. And skip most of the cutscene. That is the dining car. Let's grab the chest in the back. There are treasure chests in here, but again, all I need is one more character. I forgot to mark Realm off on my tracker. We want the first and the third switches pulled down. I did not mean to check that. Whoops. Ooh, Three Stooges. Particularly don't like that because, well, it was always going to be a back attack. That was no. So the one in the back is vulnerable to instant death. You can single target rods. I wanted to make sure that I defeated the one up top before he revived his brother. And Mo is the least dangerous of them at this point. There we go. Now, Realm, once again, one of the checks that I can peek here is Esper Mountain. So I'm going to take a look at that before I commit to a check, because all I need is a single character, and then we will be heading into Kefka's Tower. You get to about here. It is a Kappa. That means it is not a character. So I'm going to mark it off of my tracker so that I know I don't need to do it. It's not that it's done, it's that I don't need to do it. World of Ruin Jador is going to be faster than the other options. So I'm going to go try Owzer's Mansion. Talk to the picture of the lovely lady. We will defeat, once again, very powerful enemies. Late game, as you get higher levels, it does tend to be more powerful to use physical attacks than it is magic attacks. It's also quicker. There is a pretty vibrant racing community here, so I do recommend checking that out if you're interested. We've got plenty of time. That is another offering. So I'm going to see what you can equip and what you can equip. So we've got the Valiant Knife that can be used by Strago, but Strago has so much magic power behind him, I'm not interested. And our fixed dice can be used by exactly nobody. Like, if our last character is locked, it might be worth throwing the Valiant Knife and an offering on him and putting him in one of the parties, because he'll be able to do quite a bit of damage with that. But we'll see. I shouldn't have talked to Ozer here because I see that it is not a character. Which, does this mean? Not necessarily. I was wondering if this meant that Strago checks were hard required, but not necessarily. You can see with the magic power grinding that we've been able to do with Realm and Terra and Strago that we're doing a lot of damage even with just a level 2 spell. Another Magicite. Thanks. Just what I needed. I'm walking by a weapon shop. It could have Illuminas. It doesn't. So we're in the world of Ruin. I'm going to go do Ebot's Rock. I am at the point where I don't particularly like any of the choices that I have. Kefket Narsh is really out of the way. Ebot's Rock is very random. Burning House is long. Mount Colts is long. I don't like any of the options, so I'm now finding, like, oh, well, I'm going to do this one because. For this check, you need 22 coral. 22. And you have to feed it to the thing all at once. 1. 4. 4 pieces of... No, I don't want you. No. We have significantly shortened his text box. Oh my god. 9. This is just a particularly egregious Ebot's Rock. 10. 12. 15. 20. more than enough. 25. Now bring me back to the chest. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is why I don't like Ebot's Rock. Oh, Atma's very strong. Alright, we've completed Ebot's Rock. Are you going to give me another character? Nope. So that means there's a character either at Mount Colts, Burning House, Kefket Narsh. Those are our three options. All right, Mount Coltsy. The reason I don't particularly favor this one is just because it's a fairly long walk, and I don't often do it, so I often go ways that I don't need to and get chests I don't want. Oh, forgive my cat who has decided to sing the song of his people at me right now. He's very angry because I will not let him sit in my lap while I'm streaming. So at this point, I'm really not going to save because I think even if I were to face Poltergeist or Goddess, two of the worst bosses in the game, or Doomgaze, I'm fine on all of them. Only Terra would go down. Like, we're fine. Which reminds me, Terra still has that experience egg on. She can have that. Let's put that experience egg on Realm. All right, give me someone good. And by someone good, I mean literally any character at all, please. Oh, thank goodness. We've got our shadow. Again, he's got good stats, but I don't care. Unlock Final Kefka, objective complete. So we're going to walk out here. We're going to hop in our airship, and we're going to head off to Final Kefka's tower. As long as you're in the late 30s to 40s, you are probably at a level that you are ready to take on Kefka's Tower. So, you know, me with Terra at level. Doomgaze is still wandering around the skies. Didn't intend on doing Doomgaze, but here we are. So yes, as you can see at this point, we are feeling very powerful. We can take on anything that comes our way, regardless of how badly we want it. Hey, look, it's another Esper. Kieran, chances are I do not care. Alright, so Edgar and Realm are going to go over here. Terra can handle herself. Strago can handle himself. But they're all going to get friends. I think that party's going to be weakest, so I want extra there. So typically, I stack my third party with my most powerful characters. Because they are going to fight the most bosses throughout Kefka's Tower. That's why I make that particular choice. I also like to make sure at the beginning of Kefka's Tower that I have my characters set up the way I want them set up for the Kefka fight. Palador is fine. Oh, you've been getting strength. HP is fine. Yeah, I don't care about anything else on you. Alright, and then Moogle Charms. We've got 2. Glad I checked. So we're going to put running shoes. You've got a Moogle Charm. Ifrit. That looks good. Your magic power is 73. Alright. So we're going to start making our way through Kefka's Tower. And this is frankly just like you would do in vanilla. You can loot as much or as little as you want. The loot tables are not better here than they are elsewhere. So I tend to avoid most of the looting. I say that, and I'm still going to go like somewhat out of my way and pick up a bunch of chests I don't, strictly speaking, need. I am a magpie. Ooh, shiny. Ooh, shiny. I always check that chest because in one particular seed it was a paladin shield, and I've never forgotten it. More than 2 years playing this game. Haven't forgotten. Don't feel the need to fight the dragons. I don't feel the need to become more powerful. Odin's fine, and you can keep Fenrir on. Because, actually, if I can get you one of the level 3 spells. And put Fenrir on you. Alright, and like I said, gonna avoid things. Gonna head straight into Kefka's Tower. Gonna try to fight it as quickly as I can. Partially because I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I thought about not saving. It would have been the wrong choice. Blink, blink. Poltergeist, also known as Spicy Chicken. Well, Realm, you are going to be a participant in this fight. You're going to get blasted, I believe. Which is a little sad-making, but on the other hand, I'm pretty sure Edgar, with 1 or 2 more turns, is going to just win, so, you know. 3 times 8 is 24, so we're doing 24,000 damage a shot. Yeah, Poltergeist was not long for this world. The double Atma weapon was real good. Edgar learned Cure. We all appreciate Edgar learning Cure. And we move on. At this point, you know, I don't have much more advice to offer other than, you know, I hope you guys come and join us playing this game. You know, it is a great deal of fun. We have a really wonderful community built around this. We do weekly community races on Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursdays are usually restreamed. Saturdays aren't always. You know, it sort of depends on what we're able to put together and, you know, what everyone's schedule is. You know, we look forward to seeing you, you know, join our community, jump in on a race, jump in, you know, do commentary, do restreaming or tracking. We have guides for everything. I've only written half of them. You know, we want you to come join us, and this is hopefully going to be a good first experience for you playing the game, where you can play through it with a little bit of guidance and on settings that won't be overwhelming. That is my goal here. Umaro, not scary. Although he did just take out a whole bunch of my power there by hitting Edgar. Oh god. I say not scary. I might have been wrong. Edgar just doesn't get any XP for this fight. That's okay. Murder Child came through. Some things, terms you should know if you want to join our community. Realm is the Murder Child. Gao is the Murder Child Light. Poltergeist is also known as the Spicy Chicken. I think those are the main random terms that we have come up with just in the community as things have happened and choices have been made. So, oh, Rexol, did I have to? Rexol has deceptively high magic defense. Hopefully this is going to be enough damage on the Rexol that I didn't just... I think so, actually. But the seed is rapidly coming to a close. And my final party will be Edgar, Realm, Strago, and Terra. Edgar doing a great deal of the damage. Again, if you are going to be joining our community, we have beginner's guides. We have written beginner's guides. This is the first part of the second round of the Moogle's First Seed series. The next Moogle's First Seed installment will have some of the other objectives in the game that are available to show those off. We have lots of choices and lots of resources. Again, whether you want to learn how to stream or restream races, or you want to learn how best to do commentary, or you want to learn some of the specific ins and outs of how the individual mechanics of this game work, we have resources and documentation of most of this. I would take a look at our wiki, and I would take a look at ff6wc.com in particular as your main sources of where to find all of this, as well as our Discord. Our Discord is going to have a lot of the resources, and just hop into the Discord and ask a question, and you're going to get an answer. You're going to get an answer usually pretty quickly. A great majority of our server is in the U.S., so we, cover the 4 U.S. time zones. But I and several other of us are actually night shifters, so we cover the times when usually the U.S. folks are in bed. And instead, we're up and playing the game and monitoring the Discord. I don't think there's a boss at this point that would really cause me trouble. Doomgaze would make me a little sad, but Daddy here, Daddy's no problem. Look, that potion and 2 tonics, not really gonna help you, my dude. Dude, no. Throw is very good at this point in the game because A, it's powerful, and B, you've just looted a lot of random stuff, and you're like, I'm going into the final battle, I don't care about this. If it's not equipped, I'm not using it. Well, I'll just throw it at something. Give it a save, and we are on. Once again, quite a bit of the cutscenes here have been chopped out. Edgar, Terra, Strago Realm, and at this point I'll hit enter because I don't really care what the rest of my party is, like what order they're in. So, in this battle, remember this is unscaled. The face is weak to fire. The long arm is weak to instant death, so I'm going to try to catch it with an X zone. I'm going to try to catch it with an X zone. Why are you making it hard on me, game? Does anyone have float? No. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to start pumping in the damage. There we go. So the danger of an offering user is that I can't control what Edgar hits. So I'm trying to encourage certain enemies to die sooner. That's what I was trying to avoid, but the face and the short arm died at the same time, but we survived, so that... Ugh. So my number one damage dealer is out. My calmness protection is also out. I'm going to keep going because I'm stubborn, and I want to show that it's still possible even when things go sideways. But God, am I good at looking bad in my Moogle's First Seed videos. Right, we're going to cure 3. Don't have mute, do I? But I do have X zone. I want to X zone. Alright, so one of the enemies is now dead. Let's see if there's anything else. So I'm going to try Sourmouth here because the back guy can be muted. And I believe Sourmouth actually has a mute component. But we're going to take it fairly conservatively here, fairly easy. Now, so Tools, right behind the blue guy, is vulnerable to instant death. I got him with the X Zone. I got Magic with Mute, I hope. I think I did there. Now I'm trying to take out the Tiger Head. The Tiger Head is weak to Ice, which is why I'm spamming Ice 2 on it. And then the guy up top is just kind of there. He's not really that hard or that scary, so, you know, I'll hit him with anything I got. This is why I, in particular, like Memory Cursor. I can just sort of click my way through it and everything's going to be fine. The reason I am not using Flare, even though it is a higher battle power, it is so much slower. It's not worth the time to cast it. Every time my controller becomes disconnected, I have to manually reconnect it. All right, so we are now here. Once again, just pumping damage into him. He's going to cast Dispel 3 times before he goes down. It's one of those cool, no one cares, you do you, my dude. I am going to Ether Terra and Strago up, in particular to make sure that they have enough MP for the final fight here, or for Tier 3, because they need to cast things like Flare. I think 5 is the Drainer. So, triple Dispel is his death counter. Well, 0 to 3 Dispels. It might be 1 to 3. I forget off the top of my head, if I'm 100% honest with you. Now, this Tier 3 is the tier that I am always preparing for, and was why I was so excited to hit Fenrir. However, Fenrir is in Edgar's dead hands. So... girl needs to be taken out first. She has 9,999 HP. She absorbs all elements. So we are going to hit her with Flare, with Quadra Slam, and with Grand Train. You can see Flare is a pretty slow spell. She is still alive. Alright, she is now dead. Sleep is our next target. And we are going to queue up a bunch of actions, and then we're going to cast Palador with Realm. That's how we're going to try to mitigate our lack of calmness protection. We're going to try to literally not be around. I did not do that quickly enough. Oh, okay. I will have a Grand Train queued up. Clearly nothing can happen to my characters while they're off screen, except Cyan was apparently able to die anyway. Cool. So we're going to try that again, hopefully with a little bit more success in terms of getting characters to dodge things like Meteo and Calmness. Blocked. And Terra is gone. So we lost both Terra and Edgar and Cyan. So that means Sabin and Shadow will come through. We've still got Murder Child and Strago. We will be fine. It's just this has not been the cleanest Kefka fight I have ever had. It has not even been the cleanest Kefka fight of Moogle's first seeds. But here we are. Again, kept going to show that even when things don't go to plan, you can still, make it through. You'll be fine. Be flexible. Strago and Realm are going to come down and do attacks. At the very beginning of this scene, which is vaguely amusing to me. Entirely possible that I have just avoided Fallen One with Palador. Go me. This is some of the silliness of multicasting Espers. I am keeping Sabin back from participating because I want him to be able to use a Mega Elixir if needed and heal the party. So I'm being fairly conservative there. Kefka, when he is under 10,000 HP, can counter any attack with Ultima. So we are, again, trying to make sure that we're not getting ourselves set up to take an Ultima to the face. And Palador keeping characters off screen for decent stretches at a time. So the end comes beyond chaos. This is a spot where we are going to be able to get quite a bit of damage out. Although I am going to be slightly conservative and use my Mega Elixir here. Just to make sure we get some healing before Goner happens. Strago and Realm need to be closer to full HP to be sure to live through it. And right there we have our Crack Boom, and we have finished Moogle's first seed for version 1.0. Like I said, the final Kefka fight was not the cleanest, was not the way I planned it out to go, but I still wanted to show that you can, despite having things not go to plan, you can still get through a seed like this. With that, I want to thank you very much. Thank you for watching this. I also want to invite you to come join our Discord and join our community. You can find our website at ff6wc.com. That will be linked in the description if you are watching this on YouTube. From there, you can find links to our wiki and links to our Discord. Please come join us. Please come play with us. We look forward to meeting you.